We're back with another casual gamer guide, this time focusing on the requested topics surrounding the minimap. So if you're not using the minimap correctly in Battlefield 6, you're honestly putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. And a lot of players glance at it occasionally, but once you fully understand how it works, it becomes one of the most powerful tools in the game. And the good news is this isn't about better aim or faster reactions, it's about information. So in this video, I want to quickly walk through the best minimap settings in general, how to actually interpret what you're seeing, how the spotting works, and how your loadout changes the way you appear to the enemies. So these are all small adjustments individually, but together they completely change your awareness and decision making in-game. So let's start with the settings. Okay, the first setting you want to change is under HUD and then under minimap, and you want to change the minimap size from small to large. And what this does is it just provides you with a physically larger minimap that appears on your screen, so it just makes it a lot easier and clearer to actually visualize what's going on. The second setting that we want to change is the view distance on foot. I suggest changing this from the 160 to the 250. And what this does is it actually increases the radius of information that you can actually see on the minimap. So I wouldn't go much higher than 250. At extremely high values, the map starts becoming too compressed and cluttered, especially around buildings and objectives, making enemy positioning harder to read quickly. At 250, I think it strikes a really good balance between awareness, readability, and the spatial detail. And the last setting, which I actually don't change, is horizontal HUD padding. So this one actually changes the positioning of your HUD relative to the screen. So you can essentially move these more towards the center. And the logic here is that you don't have to move your eyes as far of a distance to actually read the minimap from to the bottom left extreme of the map. I personally just play at 0. I find it more of a distraction that I have so much stuff in the center of my screen. But from time to time, I'll mess around and play with this at a value of around 50. So give it a try and see what you prefer. Now let's talk about actually interpreting the information the minimap gives you. Most of this is straightforward. Teammates appear blue, squad mates appear green, and enemies appear red when spotted. But there's one feature a lot of players overlook, which are the elevation indicators. So a solid red diamond means the enemy is on your same elevation and is spotted. A red icon with an upward triangle means the enemy is above you relative to your specific elevation. And a downward triangle means they're below you relative to your specific elevation. And this becomes incredibly useful when you're pushing buildings or even multi-level objectives. For example, if you approach a building and see an enemy indicator with an upward arrow, you immediately know they're on a higher floor before you even enter. This is also extremely useful on maps with varying terrain and elevation changes like Liberation Peak. Even a small information advantage here like this can completely change how you approach a fight. Now let's talk about spotting. When aiming at an enemy with roughly 25 meters, you may notice either a hollow diamond above their head or a fully filled in spotted icon. A hollow diamond means you can see the enemy, but they are not currently spotted for your team on their minimap. At that point, you can manually spot them with the ping button. I actually changed my ping button to the right bumper on controller for the reason that it lets me aim and track enemies while simultaneously spotting them. This is especially effective at longer ranges, and once spotted, the enemy becomes live pinged for your team and will track in real time for about 5 seconds before they disappear. This gives your entire team more awareness and can completely change the outcome of a push or an objective fight. Next, let's talk about how you actually appear on the minimap. This is heavily affected by your muzzle attachment on your specific loadout for your gun. So if you run no muzzle, a brake, or a converter, you will appear on the enemy minimap every time you fire your weapon. There's no maximum distance for this, so once you stop firing, the indicator disappears fairly quickly, but while shooting, your location is constantly revealed. Now for the flash hider, this prevents automatic real-time spotting in the enemy's line of sight, but you still appear on the minimap while firing. Suppressors behave differently. All suppressors prevent automatic spotting while firing, and as long as you're farther than 15 meters away from the enemy, you will not appear on their minimap. However, inside close quarters or building fights where that 15 meters, you might be within that 15 meters, you will still appear. The suppressor also reduces your weapon audio, which lowers the sound cues enemies receive during these fights. So depending on your playstyle, this can be extremely powerful for flanking, repositioning, and staying alive longer. At the end of the day, the minimap is really about turning information into better decisions. The more awareness you have, the better your positioning becomes, the earlier you react to threats, and the more consistently you can impact objectives. A lot of improving in Battlefield isn't about mechanical skill alone. Sometimes it's just about understanding the information the game is already giving you. So to continue getting better at using the minimap, start practicing looking down more often than is comfortable for your current playstyle. And keep decreasing that interval, and before you know it, it'll become a habit to check that minimap every few seconds, which will drastically help your gaming. And that's going to do it for this one. Leave a comment down below if you found this format of video useful, or if you have any tips that have helped you improve along the way. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Be sure to spread some positivity, and I'll see you in the next one.